Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life. This article comes to you guys from RCR Wireless. I'll leave a link to it in the description so you guys can check it out. So now that these two deals have been approved, right? Two major deals, US Cellular, Metronet, that makes a stronger T-Mobile. So the question now is, what's next for T-Mobile? Right? So I was thinking about it the last 2 days. I was like, is T-Mobile going to go after another regional wireless carrier, right? T-Mobile still has the most to gain in that regard, and that scale of the network, right? Today, they still have the smaller network. So would T-Mobile go after a C Spire or after a Viaero, right? That's small scale, but could be a decent amount to gain for T-Mobile. Or does T-Mobile now, after the US Cellular purchase, right? Do they just now put their heads down and they just build out and overbuild the Viaero footprint and just anywhere else that they need sites, right? So I thought about that, and then I thought about fiber, right? I thought about fiber, and I thought, okay, that's where they're the furthest behind. That's where they're the most exposed, and investors and shareholders are going to call it out. So I'm thinking, right, and this is just me speculating, and then of course I want to get input from you guys. I'm thinking now T-Mobile goes big on fiber, right? They invest more into the current partnerships so they can scale and expand those, and then they get into new ones. I think that's going to be T-Mobile's next big target, and then just preparing for any up and coming auctions that are coming up in the future, spectrum auctions, because that's something that you're going to continuously need. Right, you can build networks all day long, tower sites, but you need what fuels the towers, and that's the spectrum. So I think now T-Mobile is in a more comfortable position than ever before, and now they just prepare for any fiber deals that they want to make, and they prepare financially for any up-and-coming spectrum auctions. I think that's what T-Mobile is going to do. So they're going to squeeze out every ounce of free cash flow that they can from the business. They're going to raise price. That's a given, right? We don't have to really figure that one out, right? That's going to continue to happen. They're going to raise price. And then they're going to look at fiber more closely. That's what I truly believe. Now, how they get there, right? That's something that T-Mobile will have to study. The team has to figure that out. The current team that's in place, they're really good at decision making. So I'm not too concerned on that part, but they have a lot to learn, right? They need to get the know-how 100% down so they can really scale and operate fiber networks. At some point, once it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, I do think they're gonna purchase all of Metronet and all of Lumos. I just don't think they're gonna let it linger around at a 50% partnership when the partnership continues to grow, and T-Mobile is the main reason why all of this is happening, right? The branding is T-Mobile, T-Fiber. It's just everything T-Mobile. So why wouldn't you at some point gain 100% control, right? So that's the next step, right? Is that necessarily going to happen tomorrow? Of course not. But it'll happen. It'll happen at some point. At some point, it'll happen, and you guys will see when that happens. So a stronger T-Mobile coming up. The integration still has to go through. That's just going to take a little bit of time, but it's going to happen. You're going to start seeing improvements. But after these two deals, I think they just go after fiber now, and then they prepare for up-and-coming bigger spectrum auctions. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. See y'all in the next one. Peace.